2025 St. Clair Board of Aldermen meeting. May I have roll call, please?
Alderman Sykes.
Here.
Alderman Miller.
Here.
Administrator Lowry.
Here.
Mayor Copeland.
Here.
Attorney Moss.
Here.
Alderman Silly.
Here.
Alderman Shelby.
Here.
Would you please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first we have the consent agenda, which consists of the council report, also the public hearing minutes from May 19th, 2025, and the Board of Aldermen minutes from May 19th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented. I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Sykes.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Silly.
Aye.
Alderman Shelby.
Aye.
New business. I would like to recommend the appointment of Brian Swimmer to the IDA Board for a term of 6 years to expire in June of 2031.
I make a motion to approve the appointment of Brian Swimmer to the IDA Board for a term of 6 years ending 6/2030.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next, I would like to recommend the appointment of Kathy Weimer to the Planning and Zoning Board for a term of 4 years to expire in June of 2029.
I make a motion to approve the appointment of Kathy Weimer to the Planning and Zoning Board for a term of 4 years expiring in June of 2029.
I'll second.
I will recuse myself from voting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have the approval for the picnic license for the American Legion Post 347 to participate in the 2025 Freedom Fest.
Yeah, this is just, we're gonna have 2 different beer gardens this year, one down at the ball field, and then we're gonna have one in the main area around the stage. I think some of you have already seen the map, but American Legion handles all of the liquor, or all the alcohol for us at these events, and they've already been approved by Division of Liquor Control for their state picnic license, so we just need to get them approved for their city picnic license.
I'll make a motion to approve the picnic license for the American Legion Post 347 to participate in the 2025 Freedom Fest.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So next, we have a motion to approve the donation of 5 covered picnic tables at Orchard Park. Alderman Wilson. Administrator Wilson.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, so we're gonna, the park board has been working on this for quite a while. This motion would approve 5 covered picnic tables. The 5 businesses that are, the 5 entities or individuals that are donating are the St. Clair Lions Club, the St. Clair Chamber of Commerce, the St. Clair American Legion, Paula Dace, and the Pelton family. And so essentially what's going to happen is we've already picked out the sites. These first 5 are all going to go at Orchard Park, and they're all kind of around the new playground area. If you've been down to Orchard Park recently, we get very busy at the playground area, and there just isn't enough seating for some of the families that want to enjoy lunch or watching their children. And so this is a very nice gesture by our community to take care of this. We've gotten the concrete all donated by Deepwoods Building Concepts, so they're going to pour the pads for all 5. And then RC Mechanical is building and installing all 5 at a cost of $700 per. So the way we're going to do this is we will run this all through the city's books. So we are going to accept $700 donations from all 5, and I really hope you guys approve this tonight because I've already had 3 of them drop off the money, so just be aware of that. But the donors will provide it, and then the city will pay $3,500 to the vendor, and we'll have 5 really nice new covered picnic tables. There's a rough drawing in here. I'm not an artist, I didn't draw it, but there is a rough drawing that kind of shows you what it looks like. They kind of look like this. So, and you know, that special thanks to the community because this is great that we have this kind of thing. I do recommend approval there.
I'll make a motion to approve the donation of 5 covered picnic tables at Orchard Park.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, next we have the Cardwell reconstruction project. Administrator Wilkie.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. It's my understanding that this has been a long process to kind of get this to where we are now. But I am happy to say that we are ready to go ahead and begin construction on this project. The city did bid this out in mid-April. Bids were opened on May 10th. The city did receive 3 bids. The low bid is Jokerist Inc., not to get confused with Jokerist Construction. We recently awarded the job to another company called Jokerist Construction. That is this person's cousin. They're not the same company. They're 2 different companies. That said, the low bid here was $304,243.12. The budget for this project was, I believe, $280K. So we are over budget, but the last project that we had brought to the board was just over $30,000 under budget. It all comes out of the same line item in our budget. So the net at the end of the year, we would still be under budget within that account. If this was approved tonight, construction mobilization would probably happen near the end of the month, and construction would start in July. I believe the project is a 90-day project, and so essentially that road would be under construction all summer long. But at the end, we would have a really nice new Cardwell Street there. That's going to be really nice for the residents there, and of course, as you know, we've got some new apartments that are going up over there as well. I do recommend approval. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Is the road going to be put in and construction still going on, and will that construction tear up the road?
Okay, I'm sorry. Say that again?
They're building the apartments back there. They're building 7 apartments, complexes. Once we get the road put in, we pay this, get the road all nice and neat. Is any of that construction going to tear up that road, or we're going to have to go back in there and redo it again?
It shouldn't. If it does, they'll be responsible for making corrections if damage is done to any of our city roads by a private citizen or company, they're responsible for helping solve that problem. So if something like that were to happen, then we would take care of it.
They also have a second entrance off of Commercial down near the old lumberyard that they can use to access the lower portion of that as they start building further in the back.
So they could just essentially take all their construction equipment down
We
that
would
way?
surely ask them to run all their construction equipment in and out of their second entrance.
I just don't want to have a really pretty, nice street, but also have to go back and do it again.
That's a great point.
So, I'd like to introduce Bill number 2025-21 for first and second reading by title only.
An ordinance for the city of St. Clair authorizing the mayor to sign a contract with Jokers Inc. for the Cardwell reconstruction project for an amount not to exceed $304,243.12. Second reading. An ordinance for the city of St. Clair authorizing the mayor to sign a contract with Jokers Inc. for the Cardwell reconstruction project for the amount not to exceed $304,243.12.
to approve bill number 2025-21 as read.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Sykes.
Aye.
Alderman Gore.
Aye.
Alderman Sands.
Aye.
Alderman Shelby.
Aye.
Motion carries. Bill 2025-21 becomes ordinance number 2216. Next, we have the East Central College CDBG grant project. Administrator Wilkie.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. You may remember 2 or 3 meetings ago, we had approved the most recent miscellaneous streets CDBG grant. This is part of that. This is the grant administration portion of that. CDBG grants are very complicated, and they require a grant administrator to be included within the dollars that are provided by the grant to be paid to ensure that all of their paperwork and all of their processes are followed. Todd Tracy with East Central will be taking care of this for us. He has done this for us several times in the past already, so this is not the first time that we are working with Todd. And it is for a cost of $25,000 to be paid during the whole process of the grant and the project. The project is essentially a 2-year project that we're going to be starting on soon. So I do recommend approval.
I'll introduce bill number 2025-22 for first and second reading by title only.
An ordinance for the city of St. Clair authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with East Central College for the administration of a CDBG grant project for an amount not to exceed $25,000. Second reading, an ordinance for the city of St. Clair authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with East Central College for the administration of a CDBG grant project for an amount not to exceed $25,000.
I move to approve bill number 2025-22 as read.
I'll second.
A roll call, please.
Alderman Sykes.
Aye.
Alderman Gore.
Aye.
Alderman Sands.
Aye.
Alderman Shelby.
Aye.
Carries. Bill number 2025-22 becomes ordinance number 2217. Attorney Voss.
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
Administrator Welty.
Nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Jason.
We have one thing. So we usually operate the Water Street Shed with 5 employees. We recently, Keith Richardson moved from there back to the Parks Department, and Craig Burton will be retiring here in a couple months. So we put ads out, advertised, got some applications. We did interviews last week, and we've made offers to 2 people. The first gentleman has accepted. His name is Joe Dace, and he has passed all of his pre-employment things and will start tomorrow. The second gentleman has tentatively accepted pending all of those pre-employment screenings. So after that happens, we'll get a start date for him. And one of those guys will begin to work with Craig to try and pull 19 years out of knowledge out of his brain in the next 60 days. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Captain DeBrey.
Said one thing.
Come on up, Trent.
All right, so after passing the pre-employment stuff, the St. Clair Police Department would like to welcome Trenton Kaiser to the police department. Put his badge on.
at this time, Mr. Mayor.
The Park Advisory Board, Alderman Sagan.
Just want to remind everybody that Freedom Fest is the 20th of June. I met with the board last Tuesday, and they're well on their way. We will have one more meeting before Freedom Fest, and I'm assuming that we will be tying all loose ends together. But this group has really pulled together a good event. Hope to have a flyer and a schedule of events out very soon. I think there's just a couple of things that have to be nailed down and confirmed. So very excited about the Freedom Fest and what it will have to offer this year.
Thank you. Other business, board members? Public participation?
My name is Scott Pierce, for those that don't know, and I'm very pleased and happy that we were able to let the contract out for Cardwell Street. That process was started like 30 years ago. A different board of aldermen and a different mayor and a different planning and zoning and all that. And for various reasons, I won't get into, the street was never complete. Construction was started and halted. So I'm very, very pleased to be able to get, all the stuff across the line finally. And very pleased and excited to have it go forward. And wasn't always easy getting through the last little process here. I think I was before the board last fall, and I was at Monterey with the Cochran Engineering Company. We did work things out. They did revise the street and did a beautiful job. I said that in writing to the man who penned the street. So I will read you something here, and I'm a man of faith in the Christian God. And in the Bible, in the book of Corinthians, it spells out the gifts of the Spirit. And one of those gifts is word of wisdom, or word of knowledge. In fact, they're two separate gifts. And this is just where you can hear from the Lord. All of us can do that, just for anybody, I believe. And during the little tussle up when I was here, and lots of stuff was going on, I went to the Lord to seek advice. And this is an excerpt from what I'm just going to read a small amount. I love you, my son. I am working behind the scenes of your vision to bring about positive, favorable results. And he stressed this in all caps. Trust me, my son. All is well and will work out to yours and everyone's benefit, including motorists too. And motorists, I thought, that's a little odd. I could see property owners, abutters, people involved. The previous 94 alignment of the street had 2 kinks in it to get around my house. And with a little bit of finesse, they were able to re-engineer the street, and we have a nice graceful curve in the street. And very little property had to be exchanged to make that happen. And that's what I mean by a good job of doing the street. And I give the Lord credit. He was working behind what I could see to make all that happen. And then more recently, this is just from last week. This is what he wrote to me. It is all in my hands, my son. All will go well. You need not worry or fret. All, I said, all details will be taken care of. I, meaning the Lord, will see to it. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy our new street, my son. I am going to. And I thought that was nice. It's up to you whether you believe the Lord works in the everyday lives of people, at what level, and what things he's interested in. And I believe he's fully interested in getting the street done. And I believe this word, he will enjoy the street, not just us. say thank you enough for coming up with the money and working to get the grants and other things you gotta do to make a street happen. And it's gonna be great. I'm gonna put screens back in my house after 30 years. And turn the attic fan on after 30 years. And maybe park my car in the carport from time to time instead of putting it in the garage many times a day. Because they'll all be nice and paved.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Scott. Thank you.
How y'all doing, guys? I'm sure I don't need an introduction. I'm sure every person here knows exactly who I am. First thing I'd like to address, I talked to the administrator earlier today. The house that's directly, I live off Kitchell, the house that's directly across from mine, they died about 3 years ago. The grass gets 4 foot tall. I cut it today with my mower. It tears my mower up, but I get tired of it. It's an eyesore. The city can't cut it. The way I understand it is because it's owned by a bank in Georgia or Florida. I've talked to 14 different officers. Every officer tells me, oh, well, the house, last I heard from my boss, it was sold, or they're getting ready to paint it. This company bought it. They're going to I've been hearing different stories for over 2 years. We've got to do something about this grass. I talked to him. He doesn't want me to cut it because of liability reasons. Totally understand. I get it. But if I can't cut it and nobody else can cut it and we're relying on this bank from Florida or Georgia to send out a maintenance crew once a year to cut this, it's depreciating the value of my property and all of my neighbors. And I don't have a problem cutting their yard, but I'd like to either A, get paid for it, or B, we need to, he said he doesn't want to put a lien on it because it's $20 to put a lien on it. It's 2-3 months through the court system to get approval to cut it. St. Clair is going to charge them. I get all that. I understand it's a headache. But we're over 3 years. I cut that grass today. It was over my knees. Okay? Something has to get done because the bank, whoever owns this, they've got numbers and stuff listed on the door. When you call them, like the gentleman here has been doing, it's always a song and a dance. And I'm getting frustrated because you're talking grass that's 4 foot over my knees. And like I said, I don't have a problem cutting it. But when it's 4 foot tall, and I've got it right in John Deere lawnmower, it tears my mower. So, the house has been vacant for 3 years. Now, the other thing I'm going to address about that home is, these officers will tell you, there's vagrants in there every single day. I haven't called 911 for what? You guys haven't heard me call 911 on this house for the last 8 months. Because I watch them go in the house. They've arrested a couple people out there. But the problem is the cop, they tell me they can't do anything because it's owned by the bank, and the bank says they don't want to press charges, so it's a free-for-all. This house, these officers will tell you, I cut this woman's grass for years. Her name was Kelly before she died. She kept her house clean. She died. The dope heads and all these vagrants are in there. The inside of this house, there's $120,000, $150,000 in damages to the inside of this house. They busted out 2 of the basement windows that are in the foundation, which the bank, I think, has come at some point to wall up with plywood. Now they've taken the plywood off the front window of the house and busted that window out. We've got to do something about this problem. 4 foot tall grass, and you can't arrest people for going into this house. You go into the house and there's hundreds of empty pill bottles. burnt holes all over the carpet from where they're doing dope and throwing cigarette butts. The refrigerator, the electricity's that refrigerator's full of maggots. We have got, I want something done. I mean, I understand if the house, if she passed away and it's been vacant for 6 years.
All right,
Maybe-
can I interrupt you, sir?
Well,
I mean, you get 3 minutes, you've been right at 4 minutes right now. I'd be happy to discuss this with you after the meeting, whatever we can do.
And I'm sorry, I don't know you, so would you give me your name and your address and the address of the property that you're talking
Sure, my
about?
name is Ryan LaRocca. I live at 125 Kitchell Street, here in St. Clair. The address,
It's right across the street from us.
it's off Highway Drive. It's at the corner of Highway Drive and Kitchell. And there's a little 1/4 acre lot that butts up to this lady that passed away's property that the city actually owns. So,
Thank you.
that's all I wanted.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Our next scheduled meeting, regular meeting, is scheduled for Monday, June 16th at 7 p.m. Need a motion to adjourn?
To adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are having a reception, a meeting May reception down in the gym. It's going to start here about 5 minutes for anybody who wants to go down to the gym.